everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is so great to have you here. It is a Saturday and I have just submitted a bunch of my assignments for university and I finally have the day off, so I decided it would be the perfect day to start a 24-hour readathon. I've done a 24-hour readathon before, except I kind of just did how much I can realistically read in 24 hours, including sleeping and eating and all that kind of stuff. This one is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be putting a timer on and just timing myself whenever I'm reading and just read as much as possible. But when the timer stops, that doesn't count towards like the 24 hours. So we'll actually be getting through quite a lot of books, which is why I've got a good stack going on. I've been craving a readathon for a long time now. And I'm so excited to do this because I kind of have like such free range with my TBR at the moment. It's also the beginning of the month. So I feel like you always feel like you have free range. I'm currently reading a book at the moment. I am reading The Teacher by Frey on my Kindle. I believe I'm only like 40% through or something, 39% through. And I am enjoying it. I have heard so many like mixed reviews on it, but I'm enjoying it. I just felt like a quick thriller. I started it this morning. I just felt I probably should have timed it, but I didn't. Anyway, I just felt like a quick thriller to kind of just get me moving. And I enjoy Frey thrillers. I'm kind of working my way through them. I've read quite a lot of them by now, but this is her like newer release. So anyway, I'm reading that at the moment. And then these are my books that are kind of on the lineup for this video. I don't know how many I'll get to. I don't know if I'll get to these exactly. I am a mood reader. I'm gonna go with whatever I'm in the mood for, but we have quite a stack. So the first one is The Brutal Prince. I don't know how I feel about this one, but I feel like I need to get to it just so I know whether I'm going to like it or not, or whether I'm gonna like the series. I'm reading this for a friend. She read it and really wants my opinions on it. And obviously this is like a very, very popular mafia romance on TikTok. I'm not really a dark romance girl, but I haven't read mafia romance and I don't think this is too dark. So I am curious to see what it's like. I know a lot of people that I love recommendations from, like Alexa Ray loves this series. So I feel like I have to read it. Although it does have like images in it, which I'm not used to for a mafia romance. Anyway, another book is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is on my TBR for the month and I am desperate to get to it. I need to get to it because it's been on my TBR multiple times. So it'd be great if I could get to this in my 24-hour readathon. I don't know how easy it is to read. I know it's about 300 pages, so it's not too long, but I don't know like if it's a fast moving book. I think it's a cozy fantasy. So I don't know, we'll see if I get to it, if I'm in the mood for it. Then we have All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I've read a few of Mariana Zapata's books and I love them. I think she is the queen of small town romance, slow burn books. So if I'm feeling a romance, I thought I could get to this one. This one's quite long though. This is like 500 pages for a romance, but you know, I feel like her books fly by. So I feel like I'll really like this one. I've heard incredible things about this one. We then have Grey Veil. This is the 4th book in the Akane series, or Madoran Chronicles, sorry. I always say Akane series. This is a YA fantasy series, amazing sense of found family, a bit of romance, all that kind of stuff. And I'm really curious to see what's in this book because the ending of the last book was insane. So I am very tempted to get to this one. We then have Escaping from Houdini. This is the 3rd book in the Jack the Ripper, Stalking Jack the Ripper series. And I've been loving this series. So this is a YA historical crime series. So if I need like a good mystery, if I've read a few romances or fantasies or whatever, I've got this one to go to. I think it is just over 400 pages, 430. And this one's all about like magic and I think it is set on a ship, which is interesting. I guess it's kind of a whodunit, like there's not a lot of places you can go when you're on a ship. And then the last one I have on just my potential list is the Jasad Heir. This is an Egyptian inspired fantasy romance. So if I feel like some fantasy and I feel like something new and different, I can read this. This is also on my TBR for the month. I'm going to sit down and start reading. I'm going to read The Teacher on my Kindle. And I guess I'll update you once I'm a bit further in and I will start the timer. Where is my phone? I'll start the timer so that we know. I can only do 23 hours. Oh wait, I can do 23 hours in like 59 minutes. That's fine. Has started. Whoopee. I'm officially an hour in to the timer. I have almost finished The Teacher. I am 85% through. Don't think I recommend it. It is very, very interesting. I feel like I probably should have guessed. There are a lot of tropes I don't like in this, and I feel like the plot twists just aren't hitting. I do have 15% left, and I feel like everything happens in the last 15% of thrillers. So obviously I'll wait and see what happens, but it's definitely not hitting like a lot of Frey books do, for me at least. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a very high rating from me. I'm not vibing with it. Not like I usually do, at least with her books. Anyway, for my next book, I don't really know what I'll pick up. I might pick up a fantasy or I might pick up something quick. like The Brutal Prince or something like that. So I'll see what I'm in the mood for. Probably not a thriller or a mystery or anything like that. I'll probably want to give a bit of switch of genres, change it up, see what I feel like. But yeah, not obsessed with this at all, really. I really just don't like the characters and I don't really like the plot, and it just makes me quite uncomfortable reading this. But it is addictive and I do need to finish it so I know what happens, because the mystery is big. It's a little bit later, obviously. I accidentally left my timer running as I fell asleep, so I had to restart it, kind of. I restarted it at, what did I do? 22.5 hours, because I'd read about an hour and a half. So that is what we started at. And so when I show you my timer and it looks a little bit weird, that is why. But anyway, I finished The Teacher. I didn't like it very much at all. The plot twist at the end did get me. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for something to happen and it got me, but I didn't love it. It was like a 2-star read, if I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, at least like we know now. I am about to sit down and read for the night. I actually am gonna be staying up quite late to read tonight because I'm picking up my boyfriend later. I have time to stay up and read. I'm gonna start The Brutal Prince. Don't know if I'm gonna love it, don't know if I'm gonna hate it, but we're gonna start it and we'll see what I think. After this, I'll probably read a fantasy book because I'm in the fantasy mood, but also right now my brain isn't very concentrating. So I'll start this and see what we think of this. It's the next morning. I'm a few hours down. The timer is at 21 and 24 minutes. And I was reading Brutal Prince last night, as you saw, as I told you that I was starting it. Yeah, I have to DNF this. I cannot. I do not want to put myself through this. This just isn't my cup of tea. I got about 50% through. 120 pages, so I feel like I definitely got a taste for it. It's only 300 pages, so I've read a good bit. This book just isn't for me. The characters were really, really bugging me. I really didn't like the dynamic between them, and this is immediately very spicy, and I am not a spice girl. I don't mind when like there's a lot of tension that builds up to it, but if it's just there. But that's me. I'm just not a spice kind of girl. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I just feel like I'm gonna keep reading it and it's just not gonna get better because I don't like the characters and I hate the tropes and all that kind of stuff. It is a forced marriage, like marriage of convenience kind of thing. And like sometimes that's okay, but this one just wasn't executing it the way I personally like to read about it. So I don't think I'm going to be reading this one. I did get a bit, like I got quite a bit through. It just wasn't for me, sadly, which is kind of annoying because I was really in the mood for a romance. I've been reading a lot of fantasy and thrillers recently that I was in the mood for a romance. Anyway, I'm gonna pick a different book. I think I either might go with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies or the Jasad Heir. If I have like a complete change of heart, I'll pick a romance, but I don't know that I will. So I'm gonna toss up between these two for the next hour or so, like while I'm kind of doing stuff. I'll just keep them on my mind and I'll decide which one I want to start. I kind of am leaning towards the Jasad Heir, and I've been saying I've meaning to read this for such a long time. So I kind of been like leaning towards this one. You know what? I think we might do this one. Actually, nope, never mind. We're gonna do this one. Yeah, we'll see how, hopefully this one is a little bit better. It is later in the night and we have 18.5 hours left. Quite a lot, but I have made a dent. Like, we're a good few hours in. I have made quite a bit of progress in the Jasad Heir. I'm literally, I'd say about halfway through now. I'm 222 pages in. I'm really, really enjoying it, like so much. I'm exhausted right now, so I'll talk more about it in the morning, but I'm loving it so far. This is an Egyptian-inspired fantasy romance, as well as having a tournament aspect, which I had no idea about, and also like just a really good enemies to lovers. So I'm really liking this. I am speeding through it. It is so much easier to read than I thought it would be. As you can see, I've just sped through it. I also have started Yours Truly on an audiobook. You guys have been begging me to read that for so long, but I'll either like continue that as an audiobook once I finish this, or I'll download it on my Kindle and continue from there. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do, but that is my little progress update at the moment. Loving this. I'm gonna go to bed now. and I'll update you in the morning when I've read a little bit more. It's the next day. I haven't had a lot of a chance to read, but I have read a little bit more. We are at page 288. So over halfway through, probably about a third left. I think I'll finish this tonight. I'm about to have a shower, get in my PJs and just sit down and read for a whole while. Hopefully, I think I'm gonna just try and read as much as possible tonight. Hopefully I'll finish this, get through a little bit more of the timer. I think we're at like, I think we've got like 17 hours left or something, so quite a while left. I really didn't anticipate how long this would be taking, but anyway, I'm enjoying it. We're getting through lots of books. I am really, really liking this so far. If you like Throne of Glass, you will love this. The dialogue between our two characters is very, very similar to Throne of Glass, I feel like. And I just feel like our main protagonist is quite similar. Like, oh, I just think so many more people need to read this. I can't believe I haven't seen it talked about more. The Egyptian mythology, like inspired magic system is definitely a lot less than I thought. It's more like it inspires the political and like hierarchy situation in this book. It doesn't necessarily affect like the magic system of it. And I don't know why I expected it to. Either way, it is very, very interesting. I am really, really liking it. I don't think it's going to be quite a 5 stars, but it's definitely like a 4 stars or more. Well, depending on the ending. So I'm not too far away. I've got less than 200 pages left. As I said last night, I did start yours truly on audiobook. Haven't listened to much more. And I think I'm going to download it on Kindle and read it once I finish this one. I'm not very good at listening to audiobooks, honestly. I'm really like, I just get really distracted. Like unless I'm like literally like crocheting or drawing or something like that, then I can listen to audiobooks, but I can't listen to audiobooks while I'm like cooking or cleaning or something like that. My mind gets too distracted. So yeah, anyway, that is my little update for now. I'm going to go get cozy and read this. It is later in the night, it's only about 7 o'clock, and I have finished the Jasad Heir. I literally just sat down and binged it for the rest of the afternoon after I talked to you. I really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5 star, I'm gonna give it a 4 stars, maybe 4.25. The only thing that kind of kept it from being a 5 stars for me was the pacing. I felt like the pacing was a little bit weird, but also I felt like the pacing was weird in like Powerless and stuff. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. And also it was more the tournament. Like I feel like all the action happened within the last 100 or so pages. Honestly, that's a very like Sarah J Maas move, I kind of feel like. So if you like that, if you like a good kind of slow burn to action, that's great. Also slow burn romance. The romance in this was really good. It was definitely a subplot, but like the tension between our characters was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Like I feel like this book needs a lot more hype around it and needs to be recommended more. I will be recommending it more. I also have been listening to a little bit of Yours Truly, only a few chapters though. And I'm really, really liking Yours Truly. Like I know you all said I was going to like it, but I'm really liking it. And I'm literally only a few chapters in. I just really like our male protagonist. There's already some like mental health representation in there, and it's from the guy's perspective, which is so refreshing. I love that. Timer. This is what we're at. Can you see that? We have 15 and a half hours to go. Getting close to halfway. It looks less because I started at like 21 hours or something because I messed up the first timer. So it doesn't look like I made a dent at all, but I'm trying to remind myself that I have. I think what I'm going to do tonight is listen to some more of Yours Truly on audiobook while I'm watching the Olympics and crocheting. That's so vibey to listen to a romance book while you do that and watch the Olympics. By the way, I love the Olympics. The Olympics are like one of my favorite times of the year. I'm watching diving at the moment, which is one of my favorite events. I also just am going to write my name in the book because I do that to every single book I read, and that is something I have done since I was about 7 years old and started reading. Final thoughts is 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. The pacing was a little bit off. I felt like it was a little bit dragged out in the middle and then it was a little bit too much happened at the end. This is the first in a series though, so I kind of get why it was set out like that. I love the kind of integration of Egyptian mythology into the politics. I thought that was really interesting. I learned about a lot of Egyptian mythology in school, so that was all kind of rushing back to me, which I loved. I love Egyptian mythology. I love Greek mythology. Like any books based on mythology I'm probably going to enjoy or going to be reading at least. Keep listening to Yours Truly and I'll update you when I've made a little bit more progress into either the book or the timer. It is later in the night. I am quite a bit into my timer. It's not going to focus, but we have 8 hours and 30 minutes left and I have made a lot of progress. I finished Yours Truly because I could not stop reading it. I literally binged it non-stop. I read it in less than 1 day. I love that book so much. Everything about the mental health representation and the characters, the dynamic between them, the connection between them, like everything about it was so good. And there is just not one thing I can fault. Yes, it's a 5-star read. I have not had a standalone, well technically standalone, romance be a 5-star read in the longest time. Like I actually can't think of the last time I have. So needless to say, I absolutely loved it. I am absolutely obsessed with it. I literally just want to reread it and annotate it like crazy, and oh my god. So naturally, after finishing that, I was kind of left with like a bit of a void in my heart, if I'm gonna be honest, which was only a few hours ago, but you know, whatever, we're moving on. So I started Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I just want to continue her story, and this is, as I said before, connected to Yours Truly. I just want to be with these characters. I want to be in her world, in her writing. I'm not too far in. I'm only 60 pages in. I've been listening to the audiobook for a little bit, so that's a little bit slower than what I typically read at. I usually read about 100 pages an hour, but when I'm listening to an audiobook, it's almost like half that. Like obviously it's a lot slower. I also have so many books that I really want to get to in this vlog as well. I feel like this one's going to be a really quick read, an emotional read. I'm sure in my comments everyone's been telling me very emotional, but I do feel like it's going to be a really good, like fast-paced read. For my next book though, I got book mail the other day. Put it over next to my bed. I've made a little TBR stack back there. The Games Gods Play, which is a new Greek mythology inspired romantasy, which sounds amazing. So I really want to get to that. I don't really know what it's about, but I do know we're following Hades, and there's also like mortals and gods, all that kind of stuff. And then there's also Lady of Darkness. HarperCollins kindly sent me like an early release of it, and I am dying to get to that. It's a new, again, romantasy series that's coming out. I just really want to read it. We're definitely going to dive into some fantasy after this. But for the moment, I'm loving my romance reads. I really am. I don't think I'm going to read anymore because it is 10 o'clock and I would love to go to bed. I'm about another 45 minutes into the timer I have been reading, and I am halfway through Just for the Summer. I am absolutely loving this. I am really scared now that no books are going to compare to the way Abby writes. Like no romance books are going to compare to this, because yes, I love like Boys of Tommen and Magnolia Parks, but they're so much like a series. Like they're series. These are standalones, interconnected standalones, and usually books like that don't have that much of an effect on me, but these books I am loving. I will say so far I don't think I'm loving it as much as Yours Truly, but like by the tiniest amount. Like I'm still loving it so much. I just think the characters, I love them, but they're not connecting to me as much as they did in Yours Truly. I don't know what it was about Yours Truly, but I was like so connected to that book. Anyway, this is still amazing. This is definitely going to be like a 4.5 star read. Like I'm obsessed with this. I'm kind of nervous about how it's going to end because I can feel a third act breakup coming on, and I hate those. I really hate them. So I'm not sure. I'm really nervous. I'm gonna sit down and read for a little bit more. I think I'll probably finish it today. It is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. As I said, I've read for a little bit, but we were out busy doing errands and stuff all morning. But yeah, I'll be able to finish it today, I think. And then I might start my new book. As I said, I got all my little TBR books here, and there's quite a few that I want to pick up, but I think I know which one I'm going to pick up next, because I do think I'll need a fantasy after this. I don't think I'd be able to read a romance after this. God, what romances are going to compare to this? Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. I'll update you when I have made a bit more progress. We have about 6.5 hours left on the timer, and I have finished Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I am obsessed with the way she writes. I just realized that there's another book of hers coming out, I think next year, and I'm so excited for that because I am just absolutely obsessed with her writing, with the way she creates romances. I also feel like they're very realistic. Well, as realistic as a rom-com can be. All the characters have flaws. All the characters seem really real, and the situations aren't ideal. And it's not stupid things they break up over. Like the third act breakups aren't miscommunication. Like they're real things, and I love that so much. It kind of reminds me of like Taylor Jenkins Reid and Emily Henry in one. It's amazing. I love it. She is quickly becoming a new favorite romance author of mine, if not one of my favorites. I think her, just as for romance standalones, not including Magnolia Parks and Boys of Tommen, but her, Taylor Jenkins Reid, and Emily Henry are like my favorite romance authors I have read so far. They are just all so incredible. Like if you pick up one of their books, you're not going to be going wrong. I love them so much. Absolutely obsessed with this one. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to rate it. I think I'm going to sit on it for a while. I can't think right now. I'm very tired. I can't think. I do have Maisie on my lap, but she's still here. Yeah, I need to like think on it. It was an emotional roller coaster, if I'm going to be honest. But I'm going to pick my next read. I think I'm going to pick The Games God Plays. It's over there in the stack. I just obviously can't get it with Maisie on me. But I think I'm going to read that one next. I think I said this before, but it's a Greek mythology inspired fantasy romance. Got to be some good fun times. So yeah, I'll start that later tonight. It's about 4 o'clock now and I'm gonna go have a kind of early restful night because that's the best. I also have been playing a bit of Hogwarts Legacy. I love Hogwarts Legacy so much. I love Harry Potter so much. Anyway, I'm gonna go get cozy and I'll talk to you later. I did not think I was going to be this obsessed with this book. I feel like this is becoming the story of my life in this video. I just keep stumbling across these books that I don't expect to be as addicted to as I am. I have just under 5 hours left of the timer. And we are 140 pages in to The Games Gods Play. I am obsessed with this. So as I said before, this is a Greek mythology inspired fantasy romance. We are following Hades. But what I didn't realize is there is a very big tournament aspect. So I think it's every year or maybe every few years, a tournament comes around. It's basically to determine who is going to rule Olympus. However, instead of the gods fighting this tournament, they pick a kind of contestant from the mortal world and they fight in their position. Whoever wins is the ruler of Olympus. Usually Hades doesn't enter this because he doesn't really care about being the king of Olympus or whatever. But this year he does. And can I just say, Hades as a character, I am obsessed. I am literally obsessed. I feel like I'm 16 again, reading like my first fantasy romance or something. It's giving just so addictive. This is how like integrations of mythology should be done. I've been reading so many good things recently. I read Zodiac Academy a while ago and I expected to be addicted to that as I was going to be to this. Like as I am to this rather. Zodiac Academy really didn't hit hard for me because of the writing and the fact that like it's just, I feel like it has a lot of potential, but obviously it's an indie published book, I'm pretty sure. This though, this is so well written, like, and the characters are so well created. It's just so much fun. Like I don't know if this is going to be like an absolute masterpiece, but it is. It's like so entertaining and it's so addictive and the characters are really fun and I am genuinely interested in what's going to happen. It's not like stereotypical or anything like that, so we love those reasons, but literally just cannot stop thinking about it and have been just reading it all afternoon. I genuinely think that like I'm going to be obsessed with this book and it's going to become my entire personality. Also, on a side note, I've been posting a lot about yours truly and Just for the Summer on my TikTok, and lots of people have been saying that I need to read Hannah Bonham Young's books, and she wrote like Out on a Limb and like Next of Kin, I think it's called. So if I don't feel like reading a fantasy straight away after this book, I might read Out on a Limb, but we'll see. I might go into another fantasy. We'll see what I'm in the mood for. But I actually thought I'd read a lot more books than I had because I stopped The Brutal Prince 60% through. I don't know whether to count that as read or not. I'll just be like it's a DNF, I guess. But technically I've read The Teacher, half of The Brutal Prince, the Jasad Heir, yours truly, Just for the Summer. So I've read like 5 books. This is my 6th book. I feel like that's pretty good. The time of going, I'm gonna see how much I can get out tonight. It's late afternoon now. The sun is finally staying up for longer at night, thank God. At least going in tonight. It was getting dark at like 4 o'clock and I hated that, but no, it is still light. Anyway, so I'm just gonna see how much I can read tonight. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight, but we're just gonna get through the timer. I wanna really just push out a good few hours, see how I go. This book was so good. Like, I'm actually shocked. I am obsessed with like Greek mythology. I think it is absolutely fascinating. And this book just tied it into fantasy so well. The romance in this as well was amazing. I was just like, Hades. I love Hades. I love Hades. If you could tell my 12-year-old self that I was saying that, like as a Percy Jackson fan, because Hades was not cool in Percy Jackson, then I would be shocked. But I loved Hades in this. I'm absolutely obsessed with this. I think it was done so well. I don't know my rating. I'm having trouble rating books recently, but like this is definitely a 4.25 or more. It was so good, and I do think this is going to be a series because the ending was very like what just happened. So I am so excited for that. I feel like this is going to be such an amazing series. Overall, I absolutely loved this. Like I am obsessed with this. I just literally binged the rest of it. I had about 100 and something pages left, 120 pages left or something, and I just absolutely binged it. I have about 1 hour and 45 minutes left. So I'm going to try and start Out on a Limb on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited, I believe. I think I'm going to start that to just kind of refresh my mind because I want to, as I said, I may as well finish this challenge today. If it's like, it's 2 o'clock at the moment and I've got time, so I may as well finish it. And I don't want to go into a fantasy straight away after finishing this, so I think Out on a Limb will be perfect. So I'm going to go start that on my Kindle. I might update you before the timer stops, like a kind of, you know, 50-page mark, see what I'm feeling, but I don't think I'll be finishing it in an hour and 45 minutes. I think I'll be getting a good like 100 or so pages in, maybe like 150 pages in. But like that's a good amount of vibe. I can get a vibe of the book by then, so I can update you on my thoughts and ideas on it. I am really liking Out on a Limb so far. I'm only like literally 30 pages in, but I love the writing style of it. Like I really like the way she's creating characters. This book isn't a trope I would usually gravitate towards, but also every single person who I've seen like a review on this book always says that. If you don't know, this is like the accidental pregnancy trope. So basically our 2 characters have a one-night stand and obviously something comes from that. I think it's because these characters, like they're so wholesome and like real that it doesn't feel as, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but they're just, the writing style, the characters, like it makes the trope bearable and it makes it make sense. I also read Reckless, which is the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series, I think. Yeah, and that has a trope I really hate. And I ended up really liking it. So I'm actually moving out of my comfort zone a bit and like in romance books at least, and kind of reading books that I typically wouldn't gravitate towards. And they're actually very much surprising me. So yeah, just a tiny update because I'm not very far in, but I don't have a lot left on my timer. So I don't think I'll be getting too far in. I'll update you when I guess the time is finished. I read for 24 hours. I did it. Ignore the questionable lighting. But honestly, at parts of this challenge, I thought I wasn't going to make it through because it was quite difficult to like, it's a long time reading, like only reading for 24 hours. I've done a 24-hour readathon in the past, but like it was just how much I could read in 24 hours, as in I set a 24-hour timer and just read as much as I could straight and didn't stop it. But this time I stopped it. Yeah, I actually saw how much I could realistically read in 24 hours. I do need my glasses on, who am I kidding? I don't wear my glasses nearly as much as I should, but you know. We moved over here because the lighting was driving me absolutely nuts. But I read a total of 6 books in this readathon, which is very good, honestly. Like, better than I thought I was going to. I'm counting 6 books because I read half of The Brutal Prince and about half of Out on a Limb. So we're counting that as like 1 if we're gonna be, you know, proper. We started the challenge with The Teacher. As I said before, I didn't love this one. It was okay. I didn't love it. Like, honestly, there are better thrillers out there, so. And especially better Freida McFadden thrillers. I was just really uncomfortable reading this because of the tropes, because of the situation. It just made me super uncomfortable. So for that reason, obviously, it was a lower rating. I then tried to read The Brutal Prince. Again, just not for me. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the chemistry between them. I didn't think there was a lot of chemistry between them. And I just don't think I'm a mafia or dark romance kind of girl. I'm a light, fluffy, emotional romance kind of girl. I'm not this. And I just have to accept that. I have to stop trying to make myself something that I'm not. So yes, we're counting this as like a DNF because I did get like quite a way through. I got about this far through, so over halfway. So I got a good feeling of it. I don't DNF lightly, I'll tell you that. But yeah, just wasn't for me. We then moved on to the Jasad Heir. I absolutely love this one. I'm still obsessed with it after like finishing it. I still loved it. Highly, highly recommend this book. Like, it's just so fun and different and like a really unique magic system, which we love in a fantasy romance. I then read Yours Truly. I am obsessed with Abby Jimenez. I think she writes the most incredible romances. I have not stopped thinking about this book since I read it. This is the easiest like 5-star read of this video. Like, I am obsessed with this book. Literally need to reread it already just so I can annotate it, because there is something about the way Abby writes that is so emotional and just raw and connects, like just grabs your soul, just really grabs it and like makes you feel every emotion possible. We then, because obviously couldn't move on to anything else, read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Again, loved it so much. I think I loved yours truly like the tiniest bit more, but they were so close. I just love the whole universe Abby has created. I think they're amazing. I think all her books are amazing. Highly recommend these. This was so much fun, and again, so emotional, and I love how all our characters are so flawed. Do look up trigger warnings before going into this, just because there's a lot of like talk about mental health, which I think is great that it's like getting more attention. But if that is something that triggers you, yeah, just go in knowing that. I then read The Games Gods Play. Obsessed, literally obsessed. I could not put this down. It was so addictive. It gave me the same like kind of addictiveness that Powerless and The Crimson Moth gave me. Like I just couldn't put it down because it was so much fun. I just needed to know what happened. I highly recommend this, like highly recommend this. Especially if you love Greek mythology, like you will love this. It's not complicated though. By saying that, I don't want to make me sound like I'm saying it's a really complicated read, because it's not. It's so fun. It's so fast paced. The characters are easy to understand. The plot is easy to understand. There's also a tournament aspect. So if you like kind of the Hunger Games, if you like Powerless, the Red Queen, anything like that, you will love this. There is like one spicy scene in this. So I don't know, take that with what you will. It's not as spicy as I kind of thought it was going to be, which I liked. I don't like a lot of spice in my books. I like tension leading up to it. That's good. But yeah, no, absolutely obsessed with this book and don't think I'll be able to stop thinking about it. And then finally, we finished the video by reading a good quarter, I would say, of Out on a Limb. This is a romance book by Hannah Bonham Young. I'm so excited to delve into her world, to delve into her books. So far, I am really enjoying it. I love her writing style. I love the way she's creating characters, and I'm really excited to see what she does with this trope because, as I said, it's not my favorite. And that is everything we read in my 24-hour readathon. Thank you so much for watching. If you have stuck through this video till here, thank you so much. You mean the world to me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.